All right, what I want to go over quick here is our trio read system or triangle read system and our no huddle type process. What we'll do is go through some principles and goals, and also the read system, which is both for the coach and the quarterback, and then some defensive recognition, and then a couple examples. All right. You can see here at the top, there's always going to be teaching points, coaching points, and QB technique in the yellow boxes for the details as you go through. So first off, our principles and goals with the no huddle. First thing we're always looking for is a numbers advantage. Again, the safeties and linebackers kind of tell all, so the quarterback's going to go ahead and point at them before every play. The one thing we want to do is real simple. If we have one high safety, then we're looking at an 8-man box front. Too high, more of a 7-man. The next one, defenders will want to identify what we call Mr. Zeros, and those are the hanging backers. We'll decide if they're in the box or out. If they are inside the run box, then we say we have access to throw the football outside the box. We have numbers there. Mr. Zeros outside the run box. Now we have no access to throw, but obviously we have good numbers for our run game. And then last, the Mike backer is always the backer in the middle, but if he go ahead and splits the guard or the center, or is stacked over the guards, then it's the backer aligned towards the play side that we're going. Okay. Second thing we were looking for then is blocking angles, and we're going to also, that means finding the best edge. So we're going to look at our edge, those defensive ends and hanging backers, zeros, but also we'll look at and find the 3 technique defender. That tells us a lot about the front, and that's the defensive tackle over outside shade on a guard. Number 3 then, principle, is we're looking for, if we can get all of this, we're going to go to the field and we want to go ahead and either have offensive numbers or speed in space, because speed wins over schemes. Another thing we'll do is we'll put actually 3-by-1 formation or the strength into the boundary, and that will determine if the defense is formation or field conscious. So our goals here for success are we want to be able to run the football. We're going to take what they give us, but we focus with that as a starting point. Again, no turnovers, and I'll show some statistics at the end why that's important, and then combined with making big plays. So the system itself, from pre to post snap, this is how the no huddle works, real simple in our trio system, is the coach is going to signal the formation as soon as the play is done. So again, I would do this would be ace, and again, I use my opposite hand so that it's this as the players see it, they're right and left. Again, when we call the formation with the situation as a coach, you're thinking of with the triangle system, that means there's 3 plays in one that fit. And we want to look and see the defense to determine what play we want to do out of that Rolodex. As that's happening then, as soon as the signal goes up for the formation, the O-line doesn't worry about any of it. The play's done. They're going to go align on the ball, get their proper splits, and then they're going to simply recognize the defense right away is if they are covered or uncovered by a defensive lineman, and then look for those near backers. They're never going to look to the sideline. The skills people are going to look right away to the sideline, and they're going to use all signals and no verbal cues, and they'll see the formation and scatter. The one thing we've learned with Penn State is they want to anticipate the directional call of formation to the field. That way they can kind of be proactive and efficient with their processing there. Their defensive recognition then is once they get aligned, which we do landmarks versus yardage splits, so it helps them just go right to their landmarks, and then they go ahead and identify their near DB and that Mr. Zero or hanging linebacker and look at their intentions. Last then, the quarterback is going to see the formation, but then they're going to go help get the skill people aligned. Once that's done, then they're going to go find those safeties. They'll point at them. This would be 2 high. This would be 1 high. They're rolled down. 1 is rolled down. That helps us give us those numbers. From there, then, they're going to go look at their edge, being those Mr. Zeros. Do we have access or no access? At the same time, they'll see the edge defenders, where we have a best edge, and then we'll simply come in and point at the Mike linebacker, so we identify there. The coach here can also do an alert signal to the quarterback. One of the things he can do in the step 2, as he calls the play, obviously he's picking the 3 that work best because he's following the same progression in the look and see as the quarterback. is if he feels there's potential post-snap pressure, he can, after he signaled the play, for example, power, he can go ahead and give them, both pointers on the eyes, an alert for potential pressure. Again, what we're trying to do here is have the coach and the quarterback be on exactly the same page so that what you want to accomplish is going to be in the same mindset for the quarterback as a coach. Step 3 then, the quarterback's going to go ahead and focus on their post-snap key defender. They'll start the cadence in the snap, but before they do that, he'll do one more scan and make sure they know who that focus defender is. We'll go through the different levels here, but real simple, what we're trying to do with the reads, there's a lot of different ways people teach this. We want to make this really simple, and I've used this since I played quarterback 30 years ago in college. Learned this, is we're going to simply read the defender's depth and their hips. And a lot of this comes from option principles, triple option, but we apply it then to the RPOs and then into our pass game. So level 1 would be a defensive end, and we'll show some examples there. Level 2 is going to be these backers. Level 3 then are our safeties, and we call our onside safety the ox, the backside safety the goat. And then with level 3, the other one, the corners, the onside corner is the cat, the backside safety is the dog. And you can see here the different things. With level 1, we're going to do what's called a ride and decide. That's a give or a keep. With the backers, we're typically doing RPOs. Now it's a fill. If the linebacker fills, then we're going to drill the pass, is what we say. With level 3, when we get into safeties and corners, we simply want to throw to their backside or their butt. So we talk about throwing at the butt, and if they're at their level, then butt, they're beat, okay? Again, the quarterback wants to focus and stay on rhythm when we get into our passing game. We use a rocker mesh, rock forward, rock back, and then if we're on rhythm, we can go ahead and throw. If we're clicking to other defenders, our first read isn't there, then we simply climb the pocket by dragging our back foot. That keeps our ankles apart so we're balanced. And we go ahead and can click left and right as we go before we decide to escape, either going what I call north, getting us back to the line of scrimmage. Defensive recognition then, here's a diagram of it. You can see the box with the backers, the Will, the Mike, the Mr. Zero. The dog there is to the upper part of the picture, and then the cat would be the strong side. Ox is the strong side. The goat is out of the picture on this one here, okay? So again, we want to go through first determine the safeties the quarterback's going to do. Then we're going to see that best edge, determine if we have access or no access, meaning access to throw the ball because the backers are in, the hanging backers, or no access because they're out, meaning we have good numbers. And then we can go ahead and call the play and make our post-snap reads. Level 1 then, you can see here with defensive end, this is the ride and decide. With this, you'll see where he goes ahead and crosses the line of scrimmage. His hips stay square to the line of scrimmage, so now we're going to go ahead and give the ball to the back. Real simple. With the next one, same play, same ride and decide with defensive end or level 1. Now the defensive end stays on the line of scrimmage, so their depth stays on the line of scrimmage, and they turn their hips, then we can go ahead and keep it. So again, you see the defensive end, turns his hips, and then he's off. Good keeper you keep, same play. One of the drills we like to do with this every day for 5 minutes this is what we call a Penn State bubble, meaning you've got the bubble with your A and your Z, but the backside is going to run and out go. This is part of that pre-snap progression for the quarterback. Access, no access. If there is no access, then obviously we got run numbers and we'll come into that ride and decide phase. We can get all our skills working here, where at the same time our O-line are working their blocking scheme. With here is when we get into our RPOs, where we're reading our second level, our backers, and simply with this, if we're picking on the will in this situation, if the will sits, then the back gets it, okay? So again, if he's deep already by alignment, there's no chance he can fill. We pretty much know by pre-snap we're giving him the ball. But again, post-snap, if he goes ahead and fills hard, then we could go ahead and that means he fills, and then we would drill. So here we can see this linebacker ends up blitzing, we fill, and we drill the pass. Same thing here. This is a Penn State doing their spring game, using their glance tag, which is very similar to our pop pass. You're going to see here where the Sam now rolls over. We've got good numbers in the box, but then the safety or the ox, the onside safety, comes down into Sam, so now we get a fill and drill. Look there. With this, we do a north drill, so we work on the passing phase of our RPOs and working and doing that on rhythm. Again, the linemen are going to be able to work on their power blocking scheme with this, or what we call our inside hole. Next thing we like to do is go through our 3 verts to the front side. This is great off of the bubbles. It ends up being a bubble play action pass, but we can go ahead and read the ox on this. What we're going to do is, what's nice with this is we're going to go inside out, and this is the first part of reading the depth and then the hips of a defender. I like to say if the ox squats, meaning there's no drop at all, with this skinny post going behind him, he knows he's beat, so be nice enough to go ahead and throw a touchdown pass here. What I like about this, there's no stem, there's nothing, and we're going to go ahead and run a double post and bracket him high and low and inside and outside. Here's an example of it. You can see the ox is up. If we run this play, he's going to go bite on the H-back going inside. We've got a bunch here technique, and the Z simply goes behind him for a touchdown. Last one then here is our Giants, where we take our 4 verts and we can do the same thing. Now we're going to go ahead and read the goat, which is in the green, to the backside. Again, if he sits and gets depth and drops, then we know we've got good space in the middle with the 2 high. If they would roll and rotate, so the ox comes down, the goat rolls to the middle, then you've simply got that H-back going right up the hash. Our out on all our 4 verts as we come back to the dog, so this is where it's important. He checks the intentions of that defender, but again, now we can just throw to his backside. So if the dog is way off and turn and running, this is the back shoulder fade we can throw. If these go ahead and he's beat, we're just going to throw this up. And again, what we talk about is not overthrowing when we do an outside fade, but rather throwing it outside the framework, meaning if the defender is inside, which he typically is on a fade, we want to make sure we throw this to the outside shoulder towards the sideline, and then it's similar to post player in basketball, posting him up and we throw it to the open hand. Penn State has done this with a ton of success, and we've been able to do the same thing. So here's some examples of it. Looking at the diagrams, you can see this is a 4 verts. We've got the cat on this side is intentions is up, he's squared, good chance he's going to be beat, which he does on that route. The teaching drill for this, which we like to do, is simply you go ahead and do what we call drill 25, where we're going to have 2 quarterbacks throwing to the 5 receivers. They're still making reads. You can see with quarterback 1, he has to use his eyes and go through the whole progression of reading the goat and scanning, but he knows he's coming back to that X receiver and then is going to throw the ball away from the defender outside his framework or to his backside. The QB2 here has the opportunity to throw to all 3 of those receivers. Again, the lineman now would be working on their pass pro and what we call, instead of inside hole, pro hole. Last piece here, kind of the goals here of the system and review. What's made this so successful is balance in what we do. By combining no huddle with the read principles and the read system, you can be successful every play. Every play is technically an audible. So you're always putting your players in a position to be successful, because there's never a numbers disadvantage for them. There's never bad angles for them. And then if you've got speed, you're going to go ahead and put that in space. I like this statement here. Mike Ayers, who is my offensive coordinator, where I learned a lot of these fundamental principles, along with some other great coaches along the way. When I was playing quarterback, He was, after I left, he went and then became the head of development for the Vikings, but finished up then for many years with the Green Bay Packers. And he said the distance of 12 or more yards on runs and 16 or more yards for passes is the minimum distance needed to trigger a dramatic increase in scoring probability. When these distances are achieved on a run or pass play, they're labeled explosive plays. The neat thing is, within that same time frame, NFL teams with a positive turnover ratio, and if you had more explosive plays, meaning you get more than you give up, that's all it has to be, you're going to win 91% of your time. So the lesson learned here is you need more explosive plays in your offense. It's a given you've got to win the turnover battle. But if you can win the turnover battle and win the explosive plays, you're looking at a 91% chance of being successful on the scoreboard. Again, commit to balance. Hopefully the read system is simple for you. We teach this right from the beginning. We've done this from college athletes all the way down to ninth graders with camps and programs. It creates an opportunity for you to be successful and for them to be successful. Good luck.